welcome to a new episode of Low Code Approach. Today we're going to be talking about Microsoft Power Platform Conference. And you don't just have me and a guest on, you have me and two co-hosts. Today, I'm going to be joined by my new going on forever co-host or until they get sick of me, Ken Aguilard, Principal Program Manager, and Wendy Haddad, Senior Cloud Solution Architect. Hey, Ken and Wendy, how you guys doing?
Doing great. I think we're your new best friends forever, like BFFs. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's pretty much that's how it works in the podcast world. We're now best friends. That is
Yeah.
exactly how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to be here, Sean. Thanks for having us.
Ken, with the excitement up to 11, I really appreciate that.
Wait till my coffee kicks in, then we're great here.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Before we actually started the podcast, Ken had to make an emergency run and grab coffee to wake himself up. So I think that's maybe one of Ken's keys to success as a Power Platform admin is to be well caffeinated in all things that you do.
Yes, I need the bean juice, please.
So we bribe you with coffee. Got it.
Yes.
That's very so. Yeah, it's no longer barbecue; it's coffee. Coffee is essential.
You would have given me barbecue first. I would have been right awake already. Okay, so let's not get that.
Caffeinated barbecue sauce. I don't know how that works.
There is that. Okay, yes, caffeinated coffee-based barbecue sauce is great, but that's a whole nother topic. Let's talk about our other topic.
Very cool. So we want to go over Power Platform Conference. If you are not aware, there is a Power Platform Conference in Las Vegas from October 3rd to October 5th. However, on the 2nd and the 6th, there are workshops, like a pre-day and a post-day workshops that are offered at the conference. But there's tons of sessions and keynotes and lots of people. And we had one last year, and it was very, very well attended. And we had to go bigger with this conference because it was so well attended and so much information that we wanted to get out. And we already mentioned, like, you go to sessions on various different topics within Power Platform and keynotes held by a whole bunch of leadership members of Power Platform, and then also workshops that a lot of the engineering team will be putting on for you. And so that's kind of where I wanted to start on what is it and what it's kind of composed of. So Ken and Wendy, give me your thoughts about MPPC. What do you think it does for the Power Platform community? And of those things, what do you want people to get out of it from sessions and workshops and keynotes?
Well, let me jump right in, Sean. So small, tiny correction. Our first workshop is actually on the 1st
of thank you.
October, which is a Sunday. And selfishly, I'd encourage everybody to join the session that Wendy and I co-led last year, which is the Admin and Governance Workshop. Was absolutely phenomenal. We had 182 customers in that workshop last year. It was, again, a great experience. One of the things I think that I liked most about the workshop was the two-way conversation that we were having with the customers. In other words, not just us educating and showing the latest and greatest, but listening to the customers' feedback and then working with them in the workshops and addressing their needs right then and there. And a lot of our workshops are not simply just product group. I know I can speak for ours. We had and will have again this year, we have product group, we have field personnel, we have Microsoft MVPs, we have customers being proctors and speakers. So it's a very inclusive workshop, and I encourage customers to join it. Wendy?
Yeah, I think the whole conference is special, but I think there's something special about each of these sessions, whether it's the workshops or the various keynotes, where it is the customers, and the customers could be pro developers or citizen developers, right? Your business users coming together with the product team, coming together with those of us on the field doing consulting and training. It's a unique space. I think it was one of my favorite conferences just because of the energy and the networking that we can do and all those side conversations, right? Of how do you do this in your company? Because the Power Platform is so enabling, but it's so flexible, right? And because of that, there's so many different scenarios to deploy the Power Platform, to use it, to empower citizen or pro development.
You said a few key points, and that was one of those things I like to maybe double click on. Is just the constant and consistent feedback in the conversations, right? I think a lot of the things that are being shown this year come from those customer conversations that we had, be it something in the workshop or someone stopping you or I inside of a hallway.
Oh, totally.
And us sitting down and taking feedback and like, oh my God, that's a great idea. right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have direct access to people at Microsoft, to your peers, and to be able to have those side conversations. I think even just oftentimes one of the things I loved is in a session, you'd recommend other sessions on a topic to go deeper, right? So it may not have been on my radar initially, but depending on what's shown at a keynote or depending on what's shown at one of the smaller sessions, you could recommend, or even a workshop, right? In the workshop, she'd recommend sessions to go deeper, hear about a specific announcement. And so I think it's a great way for you to come with a list of questions or ideas, or here are the projects we want to invest in, and then be able to follow those threads wherever it leads and find value however you find that. It could be a table lunchtime conversation, right? Or a post conference question, or a main session or a workshop.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely great feedback that you just gave me as well inside of your comments there. That made me remember back in April, I was at the M365 conference there, and I remember folks talking about, oh, hey, Copilot, AI, like, oh my goodness. Oh, wait, it's making us nervous. Oh, what are we going to do with this? And so on. Because of the comments like that and feedback like that, I know that this year we're going to have sessions specifically related to implementing AI and activating it within your enterprise, but also how to govern and use AI responsibly. And again, those types of things come directly from customer demand and customer feedback. So these conversations are extremely important. The other thing I remember about the last conference is, dang, we were busy. I think this is one of the first times I ever maybe knew what it felt like to be a movie star or a rock star or something like that. Because, we'd walk maybe 20, 50 feet and we'd get stopped and,
Well, because
hey,
Power Platform loves governance, right? That's what Charles said on the slide, and it's
oh yeah, he did
true.
say that.
So many people. I'm excited that so many of these topics are getting more traction and attention, and really, again, the conference is the incubator for that. That sets the trends for so much of the year. So I'm actually thinking, Ken, it's probably you're going to be more of a movie star. Maybe you go from, I don't know, B movies to A movies this year, but
Okay.
but really, I think that, I don't know, it's just such an interesting time to get information in a variety of ways. And so, depending on how you learn best, if you're more of an introvert in that one-on-one question where you can go deeper, if you want to see the tech demos, it's there for you. Again, I had so much value from sitting across the table and asking a question or running into them after a session and going, "What did you think of that?" Right? That announcement. And so, yeah, it brings a lot of value to what you're doing in your everyday work.
So, Brian, I don't want to derail like the topic we're talking about, but I kind of want to pivot onto just a different aspect. Like you all mentioned that there's tons of content, cutting edge stuff where we're going to be talking about Copilot and AI and integrations like that. What if you are newer to Power Platform and you're like, oh my goodness, there's tons of sessions covering all these different things. You're right, Wendy, it's super flexible. There's a lot to learn. How do you make that not overwhelming? And how do you attack going to this conference if you're new to Power Platform? What are some of the things that you need to learn, or what are some of the things that you should be looking at while you're there?
You're reading our mind here, Sean. I was just about to mention, and like Wendy said, at the beginning of the session here that we're talking about, whether you're just beginning or a pro developer, there's something for everyone. Absolutely. I think one of the best things that I saw last year, and we've only made it easier this year. The product is evolving so fast that it makes what I'm about to say just so empowering and important. There was a woman last year who, in an Ask Me Anything session with all of our leadership, she didn't want to ask a question. She wanted to get up and just say thank you. And I'll paraphrase, but she basically said that, she didn't know Java or Alphabet or Cobalt, or she just started making up names of different coding languages. And she said that Empower Platform has given her a brand new career at,
Mm.
I think, Wendy, keep me honest here. I think I know, I don't want to give her age, but she was over 60 years old, if I
I
recall.
think that was right or close to there. That
Yeah.
was like Second Life, right?
Yeah, Second Life. And she's now, enjoying this renewed career because of the platform and what we've done. And like honestly, I'm sitting in the back and listening to this testimony, if you will, And I'm getting goosebumps because I'm, yes, I really focus on governance and compliance and whatnot because I'm passionate about that, but I'm passionate about the whole platform. But to listen to that, I was sitting in the back and just getting goosebumps about, oh my God, like this is really transforming people's lives. This is really not just helping businesses achieve more, reduce costs and things, but it really is something that's for everyone.
So it really is, and there are sessions for everyone. I want to take the question a different way, and Sean, I want to get your thoughts there and Ken as well. In terms of, you mentioned the AI trend, right? And my team delivers a lot of roadmap sessions and overviews for customers of what's coming. And I was preparing for one of those sessions today and seeing some of the AI changes coming down the pipeline and going like, oh my gosh, I'm using those. And I almost didn't even realize I was because the rate of change is coming so fast and furious. I'm just adapting and using these tools and these products in my everyday life. Like I was telling my husband, I'm working differently now than I did 6 months ago. And so I'm curious as we start looking at trends, and I have some thoughts too, but I want to hear from you. What are maybe the industry trends that you're seeing that could influence what types of sessions or topics someone would pick, right?
That's a really good question. One thing that I always harp on is improving user experience. And I think that goes into not just building an app, but the usage of that app, right? And so, yes, AI is, going to help you with, incorporating components and stuff for Power Apps and making really good experiences, but don't let that be your crutch for delivering the absolute best experience design wise for your customers or for your users, right? So it's these fundamentals that you don't want to lose by incorporating more AI. You still need to retain those. So I don't want people to think that, I got to do latest and greatest technology sessions and learn all about what's coming. You should not lose the focus on what you already know. That's going to be very beneficial to give the absolute best experience. And then take in the latest cutting edge technologies to enhance what you already know. I think if I was going to attend some sessions, that's the way that I would approach it. Ken, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with you on that, Sean, but I'll also add in the fact that I'm just kind of doubling down on what I said about making things easier. So a few weeks back, I was mentoring someone here locally in my hometown, and the gentleman was talking to me about wanting to start a career, and he was wanting to enter tech, but he was just really, really scared. Understandably so, because sometimes a lot of these things can be frightening. It's a young man, he's 24 years old. He just, again, wants to do something that he feels can help people and that can be passionate about. And I said, well, have you ever thought about writing code or anything? He said, yeah, but the coding language is so difficult and so on. We're sitting down having coffee, and I literally pull out my phone and I said, okay, well, what if you could write an app in under 5 minutes? He's like, I don't think I could. I said, well, tell me about the app that you think that you'd like to design. He said, well, I'm really interested in sports. I'd like to track statistics, blah, 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 blah. So as he's telling me this, he doesn't realize that I'm sitting there and I'm just typing all this in natural language, Sean. And I'm
That's
doing
cool.
this inside of the studio, right, on my phone. And then, we continue our conversation. And then roughly 4 to 5 minutes later, I said, oh, hey, by the way, and I turned my phone around and I said, here's the app that you just built. And he's like, and he sits there and you could see him just like becoming kind of a little overwhelmed. Like, I was like, you gave me the input. All I did was use the
Wow.
tools that we're giving you, and now you're able to do this. I said, now, Sean, going back to what you said, it gave him a good foundation to start with. So all he needs to do now is just start making things a little pretty, right? Start working on the UI and the visualizations and things along those lines. So I think that there's so much opportunity for individuals. Like, even if you know nothing about the platform, come to the conference, learn about the technology, learn what people are talking about and excited about. I think that's a golden opportunity.
I'm sitting here, my mind's blown because I've been only thinking about this in terms of business problems and not in terms of the mentoring and getting people into tech. And I think that needs to be another podcast topic. But I love that you did that. I think I'm looking at it a little differently in the sense that, and I definitely think all of that's true, but many of these features are in preview right now, or at least for the next little bit of time, foreseeable future. But this is our time to prepare. And so if you think about some of the foundations, right, AI is built on data. I think about Power Pages built on Dataverse and some of the AI announcements there. And really, if you understand Dataverse and how do you organize your data correctly, you can build apps on top of them or chatbots or pages, for example. Thinking about connectors, so where does their data live? If it doesn't live in the Power Platform, how do you connect? Do you need to build custom connectors? And then, Ken, I am shocked as the governance king that you're not talking about governance and security in that as well. But I would say that in terms of responsible AI and some of these features, that's a priority too, right? And shameless plug for Ken for the admin workshop that we're leading here. But I really think that those are really good foundational features so that as these become GA and as even more features come out, you're in a place where you're able to take advantage of it because the foundation's already there. You can spring forward faster.
Well, let me say, well, two things. One, about the mentor story that I just gave. First, in case he's listening, his name's Quincy. I wish you all the best in your tech journey. Much success and much love to you. If you need any help, we're here for you. Secondly, I'm being very quiet about governance because we have a lot to show this year. And if I start talking about it,
Teaser.
I'm going to go
You're going to get in
on a
trouble.
tangent. Yes. And so I'm not doing that at all. Please.
Zohar's crashing the meeting and like cut, stop recording.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think go to the Power Platform, right? There's so much to learn, but think about your strategy. What do you want to accomplish? But also think about what's coming and how do you prepare yourself to be ready for what's coming.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. But I'll also say there are sessions, even workshops, that are not led by Microsoft. There are customer-led sessions and workshops that are occurring. One that quickly comes to mind right now, I forgot the exact name of the session, but I know it's being led by Daniel Christensen, and it's on October 1st, but the name of the session escapes me. He's a customer, he's a community leader, right? He's a Microsoft MVP. He's leading, right, that particular workshop. So I'd encourage folks that are coming in not to just look at, oh, this person is product group. He absolutely knows what he's doing. The community probably knows more than us in most cases. So you should absolutely be looking at the sessions that you think most appeal to you.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited. This year, I'm going to be down there. Actually, a quick call out to our listeners. If you're going to be at MPPC or Microsoft Power Platform Conference, come and talk to us. We want to talk to you too. We want to know what's going on. We want to hear about your stories. Come and chat with us. Low Code Approach will be there. We're very excited. We're going to try to make it hopefully be an annual thing where we can get all of us to this. So closing out on our podcast episode today, first I want to thank the new co-hosts that are going to be here. So I'll stop thanking you after this episode because now going to be an expectation.
Put us to work.
That's right, exactly. You're no longer a guest. But also, I just want to say, if you're hosting a workshop, or if you are delivering a session, or even if you're just there to work the booth, what do you want attendees to walk away with when they leave Power Platform Conference?
I think a sense of vision. I think that you are not going to master every technology. There's too much information, right? And so identifying the trends of not just where is Microsoft taking it, but as Ken said, like where are other customers going with the Power Platform? How are they using it? And that inspiration is going to be very important. And then I think what I would hope is that you also see the stepping stones to start getting to your vision. So maybe you need to learn more about virtual agents or Dataverse or Power Automate, which I think is my first love with the Power Platform. But whatever it is, governance, et cetera, that you have your stepping stones to get there in that vision. And I'd probably say the second thing would be network, making a couple connections at other businesses or industries that then you can keep in touch with, connect on LinkedIn, et cetera, and be able to strengthen this community and to help you in your adoption journey. I don't know, Ken, if you have any thoughts there.
I have lots of thoughts, so I will do my best to keep it short. Starting with networking, let's talk about the Microsoft employees aspect first. I'd like to think that almost all of us are customer obsessed. And when someone walks up to us and asks us a question, we will almost immediately stop and try our best to answer and engage talk with you. Like I can remember last year running between sessions and presenting and saying to someone, listen, I've got to be on stage in 10 minutes. Walk with me. I'll explain. Another example was I told someone last year, I was like, look, at 4 p.m. I'll be by the pool. Come join me. Right. It's just that kind of engagement that we were having last year. So keep those things in mind, that don't be shy to walk up and ask questions to us or to even, other folks that are presenting the sessions and whatnot. Everybody's there to learn, engage, grow. And that's one of the most enjoyable parts of the session for me. Two, I like folks to walk away with thinking that there should be really no obstacles to using the platform. And what I mean by that is just not simply in terms of, my favorite subject, governance, but sometimes folks will start asking about licensing, which leads into costs and which leads into ROI, which leads into a number of, how do I build my first app and all of those things. Ask those questions. We love those questions, those tough questions like that. Please don't shy away from them. We just recently made licensing simpler on August 1st. I know, and I'm anticipating that we're going to have tons of licensing questions. Like, please ask those. We won't shy away from the hard questions, and we'll do our best to answer anything that you ask of us. With that, back over to Sean.
Yeah, I'll just pile on my own question. I think as eager as attendees are to pick our brains, we are to pick their brains, right? We want to learn more. We want to understand what's happening better, and they are fantastic to help us. So we really appreciate everybody that comes up and talks to us. We love it. Please don't be shy. Please come and talk to us. It's a huge benefit for everybody. So we hope to see you at the Power Platform Conference. If we don't, no worries. But if we do, come and chat with us at Low Code Approach. It would be fantastic. But Ken, Wendy, thank you so much for joining. Can't wait for the next episode. And we'll see you guys around.
Looking forward to it.